Businesses fail all the time. In fact, the Small Business Association says that only 30% of new businesses fail during their first 2 years, 50% during the first 5 years, and 66% during their first 10 years. Bringing these statistics a little closer to home, according to a Harvard Business School study by Shikhar Ghosh, the failure rate of all U.S. companies after 5 years was over 50%, and more than 70% after 10 years. Companies fail for a number of different reasons. These include lack of focus, lack of motivation, commitment and passion, ego, having the wrong business advisors and mentors. Reasons also usually include lacking general and domain-specific business knowledge like finance, operations, and marketing, raising too much money too soon, and not willing to innovate and re-engineer. And it's this last reason that I actually want to focus today's podcast on. You're listening to TNS Connect, and my name is Rabia Gharib. ToysRUs has been the biggest toy brand in the whole wide world. It was huge. It's been the go-to brand for family games and toys for 70 years. Its founder, Charles Lazarus, had a simple idea: build a supermarket for toys. Other toy shops at the time were small and cozy, with display cases and decorative interiors. ToysRUs showed up as a giant with concrete flooring and endless rows of toys in a layout very similar to any grocery store. And what toys they had! But that's not what the incredible part is. The incredible part is how catalytic ToysRUs was in creating the toy hype across a global economy. One brand, not just innovating its own retail category, but resuscitating the creation of toys worldwide. At the time, Japan was rebuilding its economy and had just started to produce inexpensive toys. Lazarus was able to negotiate bulk purchases of the simple tin robots, cars, and stuffed animals so creatively, he was able to buy more toys for cheaper, essentially putting his competition out of business. Ultimately, his target customer got hooked onto being immersed into an entire world of toys. They got hooked onto that experience. No other brand in the category stood a chance. The cute and dainty stores were forced out of business because they simply couldn't captivate children with the promise that ToysRUs's large inventory stores were offering. The U.S. was recovering from the war and trying to revive their economy from all kinds of depression. Because of the frenzying demand that ToysRUs was creating, toys were no longer a seasonal trend. People needed to be able to buy toys all the time, and department stores just couldn't keep up. ToysRUs had not only created a year-round demand for toys, they were also able to effectively serve it. They owned the supply chain, and they ruled the category. The strong American institution was tracking consumer trends as early as 1985. Each product they sold was tracked by computers to help them identify trending items long before anyone else could figure it out. They identified the demand, predicted the trends, and made sure the supplies fulfilled orders to keep revenue growing. But despite the fact that the institution was ahead of its time in using technology to pave its own future, it feels like it was this age of social technology, the selfies, the e-commerce stores, that really smothered it. June 2018 wasn't the first time ToysRUs filed for bankruptcy, but it certainly was the last. A few months later, the giant closed 800 stores across the globe. You have to take pause and ask the question, what caused the demise of a brand whose audience is literally born in the millions every single day? It certainly wasn't the lack of customers. It was the fact that the customer behavior had been disrupted, and they were hooked onto another kind of immersive experience, the click-done kind. The kind that looks for reviews online, stares into unboxing videos for endless hours, and wants to pinch printed catalogs because they should zoom in with a gesture that is so second nature to this consumer demographic. Oh yes, kids know how to 3D scroll, pinch, and navigate through apps well before they know how to speak. Do you really think they will be able to get that kind of instant gratification at a physical store that isn't tech-savvy? But that behavior is talk for another episode. The fate of Toys R Us was sealed by efficient and lean supply chain models enabling every online store and its Facebook page into a threat for the giant. The plug-and-play economy makes the world a much smaller place, and more than the in-store immersive experience, consumers want a simple UI and UX. The battles may be won in physical retail, but the long-haul war is definitely being fought online. E-commerce is just cheaper and a lot more convenient. The unboxing videos and peer reviews make up for that user experience. The lifestyle in the urban centers was transforming so rapidly, it's tedious and time-consuming to get into the store. It's not like the toy big box giant didn't try and collaborate. In fact, in 2000, Toys R Us launched a 10-year partnership with Amazon, where they paid the e-commerce giant $50 million a year, plus a percentage of sales to be Amazon's exclusive seller of toys and baby products. Amazon saw the success of the category and invested in building on it. Without its own online presence, the partnership was just one of the many nails in the coffin for the physical retail chain. Amazon, Target, Walmart have all become major go-to spots for toy purchases, with hybrid models of online and in-store experiences. Last month, I spent some time in San Francisco and Detroit to check out the toy experience. It seems I spent the better part of 20 hours interacting with toys in the toy stores and the retail stores. I spent 10 hours playing with what is known as the specialty stores, and about 3 hours in the toy sections at Walmart and Target. I know what you're thinking, that the math doesn't add up. And that's because Talia Zafar and I spent the remaining hours online on Target doing the research we needed. And even though I enjoyed the in-store experience at Jeffrey's Toys and the Disney store in downtown San Francisco, the online experience was just seamless. No hassle, no emotion. Just choose from the recommendations based on your online behavior. Both Jeffrey's Toys and the Disney store had the staff available to make you feel like you need to purchase the whole damn store, while the aisles of Target and Walmart had nobody to coax or cajole you into buying anything except for their suggestions online. But again, that's just me, my personal experience, and I can really spend hours in a toy store. Now that the dust has settled with respect to the Toys R Us and the 800 stores have closed, an interesting revelation has happened. The company formerly known as Toys R Us decided against selling its assets. Instead, its controlling interests, reorganized as Jeffrey LLC, has launched a new retail brand strategy. In-store pop-ups called Jeffrey's Toy Box. To encash on the holiday season, Jeffrey's Toy Box has rolled out a specific set of toys in the price range between $19.99 and $49.99 across 600 branch of the Kroger stores. Again, it's not the first time Toys R Us is being resurrected from the dead, and while I am personally a huge fan of experiential retail and having that innocent childlike fascination ooze from every possible orifice, is Jeffrey's Toy Box repeating its mistake of not having a strong online presence? And that is beyond just the social media. With the void that Toys R Us has already created, the big box retailers are already in place to have their digital strategies grabbing those sales. Even though Toys R Us has reinvented itself as Jeffrey's Toy Box, I don't think it's managed to re-engineer itself. And that is what will make all the difference. What do you think will happen to the future of Jeffrey's Toy Box? Do you think purchasing toys is still dominated by experiential retail, or is it all going to be e-commerce? There are a lot of examples of toy brands and even some toy stores that have grown up with the digital trends. And as much as I love Toys R Us, I don't think Jeffrey's has a very big future. I just hope I'm wrong. If you have a comment to add or feedback to share, please do. You can also like this podcast, and if you like it, be sure and subscribe to the New Spaces and share the video with your networks. This episode of TNS Connect was brought to you by the New Spaces. Until next time, this is Rabia Gharib.